Hi there, Sandra here from the Schwowin's Nest. Welcome to another episode of Dollar Store Saturday. I've got these two planters from the Dollar Tree and I decided it's time to do something with them. It's summer and on trend is a lot of these pots with wooden legs. So I'm going to use my Star Bond glue and accelerator to glue on these medium size tumbling tower blocks. Now, these I get from my local Dollarama store, but you could also use the ones from the Dollar Tree. They're just a bit smaller, but you'll get the same effect. I love using Starbond glue for projects, but in this case, it didn't work very well. I do find that the glue soaks into the wood so quickly that it doesn't have a chance to adhere. So I ended up going back to the old faithful hot glue gun, and that worked out really well. This is how I laid out the blocks for this shorter pot. I'm going to paint both the pots white because I want one to have an enamel look and one I'm going to add some twine to make it look a little bit more fresh and modern. Whenever I'm painting with my DIY chalk paint or any type of paint, I like to change directions for the second coat because that just gives me a lot better coverage right off the bat. Using some hot glue and some Dollar Tree twine, I'm going to wrap the bottom portion of these wooden blocks. I'm going to go around 8 times, and that's just going to make it look a little bit more maybe rustic. I'm not sure if it's rustic or boho or modern farmhouse, but I just know that a lot of twine with pots and baskets is on trend right now, so I decided to do something as well. Once I've got all 8 of them wrapped around, I'm going to just glue it with some hot glue at the back. I'm also going to add some of the twine to the top rim of the pot. Now, this was a little tricky because that hot glue against the metal dries so fast. I really had to work with small sections and work fairly quickly to make sure that the twine would stick. It did pop up a couple of times, but I was able to just go back and fix it. I'm going to do probably 5 or 6 rows. I'm going to start at the top as you see me doing here, and I'm going to wrap it around all the way down the pot. That will just make it match with the legs itself. I'm also going to go around the little handles on the sides. Here's what the pot looks like so far. I really like it. I also took my lighter and got rid of a lot of the extra hair from the twine. This twine happened to be super hairy, so I took care of that. And now I'm going to be using my Mod Podge tissue paper transfer method to put a cute little wreath with a bee on it. If you want to know how to do the printing on tissue paper, I have a full tutorial linked down in my description box. I thought this arrangement would look really pretty with some lavender, so I added that. I didn't film that portion for you because I kind of thought you've probably seen people add florals a gazillion times and you probably know how to do it. Anyway, if you want to know more about how to arrange florals, you can watch some of my other floral videos and you'll see all sorts of techniques. I love how this one turned out. For the taller pot, I ended up only adding 3 wooden legs. These were some extra pieces that were left over from a piece of furniture that I cut down a little shorter. I believe these are about 4 inches tall. They had a burgundy kind of mahogany look to them, so I'm just going to go ahead and paint them black. I just gave them 1 coat of chalk paint. For this pot, I wanted it to have an enamel look, so I'm taking a Dollar Tree makeup sponge and some black paint, and I'm just going to go around the top edge, just kind of pushing the sponge on. I don't want it to get too far down, but I do want it to cover really well. So I'm not being really skimpy with the paint. I want to make sure that it gets a really good coat on there. If a little bit goes down into the pot, that's okay. Enamel is never perfect, so it doesn't matter how you do it, it's going to look great. I also tipped the bucket over a little bit so I could get some of the bottom portions here, and I just wanted to make sure that that whole lip that you see on these pots is covered with black. I did the rim down at the bottom of the pot, and I also did the handles. I did another tissue paper printing for this pot. This time I went to pixabay.com. I forgot to mention that the bee wreath was something that I purchased off of Etsy, so I'm unable to share that because it was a purchased item, but I will put a link to that person's shop in my description box. This time I went to Pixabay and I searched lemon branch, and this is what I got: a beautiful vintage little label that I'm going to be able to put on my pot, and I think it is so pretty. I added some greenery and some little faux lemons. I think it's absolutely gorgeous. Now, sometimes people comment, why do I paint everything white? Well, I'm going to go out of my comfort zone a little bit today. I'm going to use this beautiful pale green chalk paint from Martha Stewart Vintage line, and I'm going to paint just the bottom and the top of this watering can. It's just a metal watering can that I picked up at Dollarama for $4, but it has some beautiful shape and design to it, and I'm going to just make it very simple. So I started out going a little rough with my lines here because I thought originally that I was going to paint the center portion white, but I decided to leave it metal. I think the combination of the beautiful green and the silver metal just looks so pretty. I'd like to say a big thank you to all of my subscribers and my viewers. This week I hit 20,000 subscribers and I could not have done it without you. I am so very grateful for all of your support. Thank you so much. For this tissue paper printable, I'm trying something new. I have never taken a piece of white tissue paper that I've printed a design on and put it on silver metal like this. So you're going along with me as I try something new. I'm really crossing my fingers that it's going to work. So I printed off this heirloom herbs design, and stick around to the end of the video if you want to know exactly how I did this. It's totally free, and I'm going to take you through a full tutorial to show you how you can do this yourself. Anyhow, this turned out really sweet. I'm just using my Mod Podge method again, and then before it totally dried, I took a baby wipe and I wiped off any of the excess Mod Podge. I really love how this turned out. It dried almost clear, not 100%, but it really blended into the silver color. I just added some florals and some greenery, and it was done. Okay, are you ready? Let's get into the tutorial. So the first thing to do is to get on pixabay.com. You're going to click into the search bar and type what you want to look for. I'm going to look for herbs, and I am going to choose from illustrations because those are the ones that look the most vintage. You can scroll down and see all sorts of beautiful selections. This is something that I've used before. I cut a whole bunch of the pieces apart. I really like some of these with the little florals on them because chamomile is like that and other things are like that. So you can just kind of go through and pick out what you want. I've decided to choose this one here, so I'm going to just click on the image and then it pops up in a new screen. Over to the right of the screen, you're going to see a free download button. So you're going to click on that and you're going to get some options of different sizes. And then you can also see at the bottom there's a vector graphic option. Just click the download button and you'll probably have to hit the little CAPTCHA image, which just means they want to make sure that you're a real person. Then you can go back to Pixabay and search for more images, or you can get ready for the next step. We're going to be working in Google Drive, which is accessible if you have a Gmail account. If you don't, you're going to need to go to Google and just search, how do I get a Google Drive account? And you'll be able to see all sorts of videos on that. So in our Google Drive, we're going to click on New, go down to More, and then hit Google Drawings. Drawings is a place where you can create all sorts of ads and printables and all sorts of things. I'm just going to name mine so I know what it is, but you don't have to do that. The next step is we're going to insert some word art, and that is going to give us some really nice chunky letters. You're going to go ahead and type in what you want it to say. Now, I changed my mind a couple of different times when I was trying to think of what I wanted this to say. So you're going to see some of the letters change off and on. But just go ahead and type in this little box. Once you press enter, those words are going to pop onto the page. And now you have the option to change what they look like. So you just go to the font section there, and there's a drop down list, and you can choose whatever you want it to look like. And I think I'm probably going to try something a little bit more normal, almost like an old type of typewriter kind of look. But you can see that there's a bunch of different options here. Next, you'll want to move up to the little paint can and choose the color that you want. I wanted mine to be solid black. You can also choose to bold your letters, which is what I normally do. You can also italicize them. I don't do that as often. Now go back to the insert menu, but this time you're going to choose the word image and then go across to upload from your computer. You're going to want to search your computer where that download went to. So normally you'll have a downloads folder, and then you just click on the image and it will appear on your document. So here I'm just going to move it around, decide where I want it to be, make it smaller, make it bigger. I can make it angled if I wanted to. You're going to need to just explore all of the different options that are available to you when you've got this blue square around your image. As I mentioned earlier, I did grab a couple of more images, so I'm just going to upload those from my computer the same way and then resize them. Now, if some of the images are colored and you would rather have them black and white or different colors, you can right-click the box, go to the format options, and then you can click on recolor. And what that's going to allow you to do is change the color of your picture. So click on the little drop-down arrow and you've got all sorts of different options. So right now I'm going to click on one that turns it to sepia. So that's more of the old-fashioned vintage brown. You can also do a grayscale if you wanted to, and you can also do something else which is called, just give me a second here, negative, which also makes it black and white. But I'm going to just go back to no color because I don't mind having the color on this little image. I want to add some words underneath the herbs, so I'm going to insert some more word art and I'll put in a few different words. Again, I change this a little bit throughout this whole process, but when I click the enter button, I'm also going to get them the same as they looked previously. So they're going to be blue with a black outline. I'm going to just go ahead and change them to way I want them to be. So totally black, and then again I'm going to change the font type. So at this point, I'm just playing around with it, getting it how I want it to look, adjusting things, resizing the lettering, changing the font. And once I have it the way I want it to be, I'm going to need to download it. Before I download, I do have to group everything. So I'm just going to select all of them and then I'm going to right click and hit group. And that's going to make me able to move this all over the page, all in one section. To download this image, I'm going to click the File button, Download, and then you can see all the different options that are available to you. A PDF, a JPEG, or a PNG. And that is the one you want to choose because that gives it a transparent background. Once it's downloaded, go to your downloads folder, double click on it, and it's going to open up in your images app and you can see what it looks like. Then if you want to make changes, just go back to your Google Drawing and fix it up. If you have any questions or need support or help figuring all of this out, please let me know. You can connect with me through the comments here on the video or go ahead and personal message me through Instagram or Facebook on my Schwowin's Nest page. I hope you enjoyed the video. I really hope you got some inspiration to craft yourself. If you did, I would love for you to give me a thumbs up. That really helps my channel continue to grow. And if you haven't yet subscribed, hit that subscribe button. That black arrow will point you in the right direction. Thank you so much for watching straight to the end. I really appreciate it. Have a wonderful Saturday, and I'll see you in the next one.